Okay, whatever.
Oh no, you nailed it.
I did not. It's like,
Jenny, you are so good with the timing of this intro. It's unbelievable. It's incredible.
yes. I mean, people, you can hire me out. I got you.
Yeah. Skills. Maybe Rich, we've got a great guest, Rich, who's backstage already. Maybe you could be on his production team. You could, he's probably looking for someone to do that intro. So
He's like, man, what school did you go to?
he's already impressed. He just met us and he's impressed, Jenny. I'm sure of it. What's up, everybody? Daniel Allison, the average dude, along with my cousin, Jenny Winny, ready for another episode of talking to great people, sharing some tidbits from the week, maybe learn a few things. What else are we going to do, Jenny?
Well, I hope we're going to learn a few things, Daniel.
Yeah, we could definitely learn. Look at that. We've got a new commenter, and he likes hearts.
Yeah.
So, hey, hearts are a good thing.
I wish I could say his name, though, but I'm going to say
I'm going to just call him the good doc.
Dr. O. Dr. O.
Dr. O. Dr. O is fantastic. Thank you for commenting. Hello, Michael Thacker.
Yep.
Hello. Thank you for joining. Got a new, hey, I think people are following Rich. You see that? We just bring in Rich. Good things happen. We all celebrate.
They said, listen, we heard there's this girl that her timing is impeccable.
It's unbelievable. You're going to and that's what you need to put on your LinkedIn profile, your banner. That's how you're going to create your funnel. I went to Andrik Blot. Andrik, if you're out there, good to.
Oh, yeah.
But I went to his. He had a LinkedIn Live deal where he did like a training, and he talked to different guests about what they were doing with their LinkedIn. It was really good. So,
man,
yeah. I thought it was really cool. So he was talking about building a system and like who your ideal client is, and talking a little more strategy. But I thought it was really cool. So that's why I said you can make yours. You're the timing girl,
Dr. O. I'm going to say it. Okay.
Go for it, Jenny.
Dr. Ovasi.
Yes.
Ovasi. I don't know.
No, you did fantastic, Jenny.
The accent really made it too.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, you put that little twang to it. Yeah. So listen, guys, we've got a guest. We're gonna be finishing up around 12:30 with the guest. Jenny and I will talk a little bit afterwards, maybe interact with the audience. But what I want to do right now, Jenny, guess what I want to do?
What?
I want to meet Rich. It's time to meet Rich right now. Let's do it.
Bring him in.
Hey, we're adding him to the stream. There he is.
Hey, everybody.
Hey,
nice to meet you. Nice to meet you, and nice to meet you too, Jenny.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah. So Rich and I, we've been talking a little bit on LinkedIn. I just came across his profile, and I said, I've got to talk to this guy. We're about the same age, and he's much further along in the podcasting game than I am. But that's why we meet people. We get to learn new things and get curious about people. So, Rich, thank you for making time for us today.
I appreciate it. I'm just being backstage and watching the energy. I'm like, well, I don't have time to go make another cup of coffee, but I'm going to bring it. So here we go.
Yeah. You just run along the train for a little bit and then just grab a hold and hope for the best. But no, we enjoy doing this, Rich. We've been doing it now for how long, Jenny?
Well, since February, I think.
Since February. Yeah. So we're making it through the year. We've been doing them every week. We've met a lot of great people. We've had 2 guests some weeks, learning a lot. And I know that you're in the podcast world.
Yes.
And one of the things that actually the first post that I saw that you did, Rich, was the one where you were turning 41 years old. You were in the gym, so you are younger than me, but I went ahead and put years on.
He was I didn't want to bring that up, but
yeah. But he's in the gym, and you were talking about getting started later in life with kind of your personal development journey and that sort of thing. So can you kind of take us on that journey and tell us kind of how you got to where you are now?
Absolutely. So I'm a retired Marine aviator, and the Marine Corps was great. Loved it. Can never forget about it. It's in here for life. But afterwards, I guess the transition is I don't know, it's difficult, more difficult than people assume for us. You lose your identity a little bit. You kind of try to fit in with corporate world or whatever it may be. And for me, I ended up at Amazon. and I didn't enjoy it. I knew on day one, I was like, uh-oh, like what a mistake. I just knew.
Really?
Yeah.
And I understand they're the tip of the spear. And my financial advisor was like, you're staying 4 years. I'm like, I don't think I could stay 4 years. And 2 years later, I was gone.
Yeah, so you were in the Marine Corps and probably went through incredibly tough, rigorous discipline training and all this, but you're like, no, I can't do this civilian stuff.
I mean, it was, don't get me wrong. Like I performed at a high level. Operations is tough and challenging and it's go, go, go. But it was just leadership for me. That, and at some point when I was working so many hours and not seeing my newborn daughter, things just started to kind of deteriorate. And I just had to make a decision. And my wife was I'm blessed because she's like, I think it's time you leave. And 2 years into it, I left and we moved in with her parents. I was 38 years old and we moved in with her parents.
I love it already.
And
it makes me anxious though.
No. And oh, Jenny, I was like, this is just going to be 2 months. It's nothing. Like this is just a reset. Yeah. 6 months later, I'm like, we got to get the hell out of here. And it was my fault.
Let's pack.
Yes. But that was the beginning, to answer your question. That was literally the U-turn and saying, I don't care what anyone thinks. I don't care what people may say or think on Facebook. I don't care that I have an MBA and that I was a Marine and that I worked at Amazon. Like none of that matters now because I'm putting everything in my own hands. I am going to determine what the course is. And I started doing a gratitude journal that, like, you wouldn't even recognize me a few months ago, but I write every night, all the things I'm grateful for. But one thing I always write is you are the architect of your own life. Yeah. And that's kind of was it. So for those, the next 3.5 years since then, everything has changed in a major way, including obviously being a business owner, but small things like losing weight, giving up alcohol, all these things. And it has just been the most rewarding kind of journey. And I think to really, truly answer what you're saying is I really do want to be an inspiration at some point for people who are, approaching 40 or early 40s and don't think like that they could kind of make that 90-degree turn. They're thinking like a battleship takes forever to turn, right? Like, no, like you can kind of take control of what you want to happen and you can manifest these things if you have the right support, if you have the right intent, if you have the right just people in place. I think your life could be drastically different instead of just being like, I guess this is just how it is.
Yeah.
There's no worse feeling than going to bed and being like, this can't be it.
This is it.
Yeah.
It's the worst feeling on earth. So so that's where
we
are.
Yeah. Go ahead, Jenny. What do you have on your mind? What are you thinking?
I do. I have something. How'd you know, Daniel? It's like you're learning.
I'm getting there.
Yeah. Okay. But I was thinking like, you said, oh, well, okay. I took control of my life. I lost weight. Did all of those things, was it like a life complete change? You did all those things at once, like started on a healthier physical journey, a mental?
No, I mean, it's one of my mentors says this journey is a progressive uncovering. And that's exactly how I look at it. I didn't know I was going to give up alcohol, but I'll say this right here live. I've said it on one other podcast, but I'll say it here for you guys because I'm having such a great time.
Good.
I went to a podcast so hungover that I was still drunk. Yeah. And it was in person in Austin, Texas. I went to go see an author who I had been introduced to. She thought it was the best interview ever. I was panicking the entire time. And I'm just like, she's going to smell this. And
yeah. I'm in too good of a mood.
Yeah. And it went so well. She actually invited me to lunch with her and her husband after. I'm like, nope, like I am going to go calm the hell down because this is crazy.
Oh, yeah.
So that for me was like, if I really want to be a great podcaster and a great interviewer, if I really want this to actually be a business, then it's got to stop. And all I did was like, all right, let me just stop for a week. And the next thing you know, I had like a streak going on. And then I was like, I don't even care about it anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, that's it. Like, I'm done. And that sounds crazy, but it's just small things. Reading, the fitness, all that, Jenny, to answer your question, is it's just little by little. I don't have a goal. I just try and begin habits. Habits, not goals, like habits.
Yeah.
Tell me more about that, Rich. As far as habits.
I think goals, there's no finish lines. I always like to say there's only starting lines. So like anytime you hit a goal, I don't know if you guys are anything like me, but it's fulfilling, but briefly, because you're just like, what's next?
What's the next thing? Mhm.
But instead, if I can tell my wife I love her, X amount of times a day, like I'm just making something up, although I
Right.
do that.
Yeah.
And until it just becomes like every time she comes down the stairs, if I happen to be reading, the first thing I'm going to do is go up to her, say hi, and give her a kiss. Like it's a small habit, right? I'm just trying to make something second nature that makes me a better husband. Same thing with business. Take one course a month, have a slush fund for a course that I don't need, but I'm just curious about. And I'm not going to give myself grief about it if I don't finish the course, but I'm just trying to learn little small habits, little I maybe permissions to do things that are a little bit difficult. And here's one thing I'll say. All the things we're afraid of, this has been a very big epiphany for me. Everything we're afraid of can be overcome by exposure. I mean, that's just the way it is, right? Like maybe Daniel, you're like, you know what? I've always wanted to dance salsa, but I'll look like a complete idiot. And then you're just like, you know what? I'm just going to expose myself to go to this free class that I know only 3 other people are going to be at. And maybe I'll actually like it.
I love it.
And then there you go.
I need to do that too.
Okay,
I mean, people have fun dancing.
That was brilliant. And that's what you're going to do, Daniel. You're
Yeah. Well, I mean, it would help.
You got to be live on LinkedIn when you do it.
Absolutely.
Let's do it. Hey, we might as well get a few likes over it, right?
There you go.
No, so I want to know more about what happened after. I want to know the story. So you moved in, you're in with the in-laws, you're in the basement, and now things have gone well.
Yeah.
So tell us more about.
I mean, I decompressed. I started having a relationship with my daughter, which has been the biggest blessing. And I never used to see her. I worked on a night shift. I'd see her. Her nap time interfered with my sleep time and blah, blah, blah. I just never saw her. It was awful.
Yeah.
So that improved. I improved, and I didn't belong to anyone. And I think that was the biggest thing for me. So it was all up to me, right? At this point, it's like, how am I going to, get income again? So I love taking pictures. I thought videos were cool. I mean, here I am 38. I felt like intern for wherever. I was applying to photography shops that wouldn't even take me at $11 an hour because I just wanted to learn the basics to actually know what I was doing.
Yeah.
So no one was taking me, and that was hilarious. So I just started doing some online courses. I went to a couple conferences, and then I met Gary Vee, and then that was pretty much a life-changing moment. I got to meet Gary. I asked him if I could meet him in New York at his office. We had a one-on-one meeting. It was fantastic. I've done that a few more times after that. And that gave me the idea, like, how the heck did I get access to this guy?
Yeah, that's what I want to know.
Yeah.
And then I started doing it for other people. And then I started interviewing like big time entrepreneurs, mega millionaire entrepreneurs and billionaires. And it's not the financial status, but the point I'm trying to make is that they're hard to get in front of.
That's right.
And that was where I kind of discovered my talent. And I was like, okay, I want to make content for CEOs and business owners. I could do that, even though I hardly know what I'm doing with video. I will do it until I don't have to do it anymore. And then the second was, okay, podcasting. Jenny, you and I can have a podcast right now, right here online. No problem. Easy to do on Riverside, on Zoom, or whatever we want. But
hey, now Jenny Winny's mine. You can't steal her from me.
As far as an interview, But wouldn't it be better if I actually came to see you and I set up a camera there and you could feel the energy and I gave you a gift at the end and I actually made that hour of your life worthwhile, not like you looking at your watch like I got an appointment in a few minutes. So that was the other part. I was like, I need to get in front of people because no one is willing to say, no, Simon Sinek, we could do it online. No, I'll be like, I'd like to go to Beverly Hills and actually do this in person.
Yes.
I will wait. I will stand on my head until you say yes. So they're like, okay, well, if they're willing to do it, if I go to them, nothing changes. It's the same.
They didn't have to exert anything. I mean, you came to them.
Yes.
It shows your eagerness that you really want.
Yeah.
So Daniel and Jenny, let me tell you this. Every time I go to a conference and I see a keynote, especially if it's someone I've interviewed or someone I know, I'm like, this is crazy because they're giving information that they've given many times before. But I got an hour with them at no cost, while people are paying thousands of dollars to go see their keynote. And I'm like, it was one-on-one. I got the content, I got the picture, and I probably left a favorable impression because I wasn't overbearing and weird and crazy. And it was just a good time. So that's really kind of an approach that has allowed me to do what we do and just, podcasting, premier podcasting services and video content. So that's like the shortest version ever, but yeah.
I love it.
I
I
do
love
too.
that version. And I mean, and you do have a talent then. I mean, if you've gotten in front of Gary Vee, and I know I can't remember the guy's name, but I watch his YouTube all the time. You were sitting down with him.
There's a bunch.
Yeah. So you get it. What are you doing? What is it about yourself? I'm trying to learn myself because I love the idea of going in person. Jeannie and I have talked about this. The energy's different and proximity. The closer the proximity, the better off we are, right?
Yes.
I mean, so there's proximity. You can be texting, then you can talk on the phone, then you can video, then we want
there is a different connection. There is
different vibe.
Let me share with you a perfectly recent story that proves what you're saying is exactly true. And by the way, if you two ever went to people in person, it would be a smash. I guarantee it. Just by the energy. The online energy is online energy, but this is like really tangible. It feels great, and I'm happy to be here with you guys. So here's the story. One of someone who I looked up to had an amazing YouTube channel and was always kind of like on the side of creators in terms of sales and negotiations and marketing and all these types of things. Like it was just very different content. And I don't want to name him just in case.
Yeah.
But recently, and I ended up being like, okay, I'm going to buy a couple courses from them. So that's actually one of the steps, by the way. Like if you want to interview someone, if you've invested in something of theirs, that helps significantly. Okay. So that way you could be a quote unquote case study. So they want to hear that you've done some of the things that they've suggested, because you know what? 98% of the people don't do anything that these people are saying to do. And they want to know, they want to be validated. Right. Yeah. So that's one. So I invested in a couple courses. I ended up, sending DMs. Then I ended up joining they have like a paid group. It was like $99 a month or something like that. All these creatives. I was very active in there. Why was I active in there? Number one, because I had things to say. And two, because that person was definitely going to see it. Right. Like I just became someone who's casual, someone who's showing up a lot.
Okay.
And I'm validating, I'm helping their mission. I'm literally showing them I'm trying to help their mission.
Okay. Great stuff.
So then I hired them for business coaching, and it was pricey, but because I already knew their capacity, those couple hour-long calls were like mind-blowing, and it was just for me, right? It was just for me, my specific problems. I don't want to be in a group setting, hearing everyone else's things and hope you answer my question. No, I need you to focus on me.
We need one-on-one. Yeah,
exactly. Okay. So after that, I'm like, hey, I'd like to come out to interview you in Santa Monica. Okay. So we did. And it was fantastic. And then I other podcast, I had another podcast, and I went to them for that one after I was in town doing another couple interviews. This was like a year later. Then they had me on their show, and they have a top 5 marketing podcast. And they knew my podcast talents went like this. So they're like, we got to talk about this. And we got to talk about NFTs as well. And I was like, okay. So we did it. I was on their show. So now I was on my mentor show.
Oh, that's
exactly how it's unfolding.
Yeah.
So then, very, very recently, I started getting a little bit more business coaching from them, paid, of course, because I know them and we've texted and stuff like that doesn't mean like, hey, could I get a deal? No.
Right.
That's right.
Paying. I paid. Well, they were at an event recently with a lot of high profile people who would be perfect clients for me, because I've recently helped very big names like get their podcast through the roof where it was kind of dormant or lifeless. So this person knew that, and I manifested this somehow. They called me. They're like, hey, I'm sitting around these people. They've heard of you. I'm going to put in a good word. I'm like, I can't believe you called me. Number one, I can't believe you called me. And two, the fact that you even mentioned me is crazy. And the reason that they even did that is because I've been trying to get them out of goodwill on other people's podcasts, big name podcasts of people I know. I'm like, let me try and get them on them because they just hit a big milestone on YouTube. This mentor of mine has done so many good things for me. Let me just give goodwill. There's no commission from it.
There's no agenda behind it. You were just
I just want to help them. They've helped me.
Yeah.
And I got another call a day later, same person, and they're like, hey, here's what I found out about so-and-so. Here's how I would go about it. Like, what is that? Right? So I could not have predicted that.
No.
And they were invested in me because I was invested in them. Period. Point blank.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's it.
Is brilliant.
Well, and you know, I remember the movie Can't Buy Me Love.
Yes.
You know,
Do
he gains proximity to the cool kids, and lo and behold, they like him because once we have proximity, we become human beings, right?
Yes.
And it's worth whatever the price of admission is, so to speak. If it means you kind of cover a couple of extra yards to get in front of the cool kids, well then cut a few extra yards, you know, and gain that proximity, and then allow your natural humanness to shine through that human connectivity and that logical progression of the relationship. You're helping him, he's helping you, we help each other. Jenny, would you like to say something?
This means I have a question. So before I forget, Daniel, I'm sorry. But anyway,
no, you're fine.
Okay, so I'm going back to Amazon because I'd be like, ooh, that's probably a pretty good job. Okay. And then we quit. We're living with the in-laws or blah, blah, blah. And so did you know what direction you wanted to go? Did you know, hey, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to be a podcast pro.
No. Again, meeting with Gary helped out a lot because I had, I was still missing my military life. So I had a show in my mind about veterans. I had two podcasts before my third one, which took off. And then my fourth one, which went absolutely ballistic.
Oh, wow. I got to hear about those.
Yeah. I had a couple awful ones. I mean, not awful. but I just did it.
Learn.
All right, let me do this. I like talking to people. Let me do that. So I like the aspect of video. I like video editing. These are all, Jenny, curiosities. Nothing I actually did for real. So I was like, which one of these do I love the most? And which one of these can actually make me a profit? That's why I was applying to all the photography stores, because I wanted to learn. Well, I quickly realized like photography is like insane. I mean, like just you like every millionth picture might be a success, right? If I want some notoriety for it.
Yeah.
So well, I like talking to people and I like video. So let me try something else. I started interviewing business owners in that small town in Virginia where I was. And then eventually I just started taking risks, especially after Gary. I mean, that's a good name to have, right? Like you throw that name around and people will be like, yeah, I'll be on your podcast. Yeah. And little by little, I started doing it. One thing I do want to share with you though, is you would be surprised how big names on your podcast doesn't actually move the needle. It's actually you that moves the needle. I have learned, and I give this advice to a lot of my clients, is like, I really think you should have some solo episodes because people want to hear what you have to say, Jenny. People want to hear what you have to say, Daniel. Your own thoughts, not just the people you interview. Yeah. Because as I've had those interviews, like I'm gathering all this knowledge. It's almost like a coaching session, right?
Yes.
And how I apply that eventually becomes valuable content. So don't think that you have to interview people. This is for everyone out there. Yeah. You actually have some things. There's someone 5 steps behind you right now that wants to do it. But curiosities is all it was. I was just closing doors one by one until I was like, that open door is actually a good one. I'm going to pursue it a little bit more.
Oh, that's awesome.
Curiosity. And I did a video just trying to promote the show a little bit right before we got on here about curiosity. It's so important, you know, because you can't fake curiosity. I was interested to meet Rich. I was thinking about, who is Rich? How did he do some of the things he's done? You know, trying to get out of my own head and focus on who the guest will be, because Rich, and maybe you can speak to this, it's meeting human beings. I meet Rich, I meet a prospect that could sign a contract. It doesn't matter. I start in the same place. Who is this person? You know?
But also like meeting, you know, the things you say, because I love learning. I call myself like the Google queen. If I figure it out, you know, I'm going to fix that. I'm going to fix my car. I'm going to, you know, things that I might not make money on. But like what you're saying, it's like, I love to do that. Yes. And what you said about like, you know, like I had started off even, I don't know if you ever saw that online, the master class where you could look at different, really high. Okay. That just investing in something small for myself. I'm not going to do anything maybe, but like what you're saying, I love that. Yes. Just taking some courses of things that you would like to know how to do more.
Yes. And you will be able to decide whether you need to leave that door open or close it.
That's right.
That's it.
Well, baking cakes, close that door.
Yep. I mean, maybe you Googled how to fix your car and then you're like, I don't think I want to be wearing overalls and covered in oil all the time.
I don't think so. But, you know, I was like, I'm glad I changed that fuse.
Yes. That's right. You learn. And I thank you for kind of pulling me back into that. My mind is going in 100 different directions because I think the commonalities here are amazing.
Yeah.
But Jenny, you made the point of trying different things. You didn't know what you wanted to do. You were curious about these things, and you like you say, you wanted to be around photography. You wanted to look at that and understand that more, talking to people. So I think sometimes if you wait to find your true calling or purpose or whatever we want to label this as, until it doesn't come to you in a vision, you have to take action and find it.
Yes. Yes.
And the more action you take, the more things you try, and how we kind of overcome that fear of failure and not being good at something, getting over that first hump. We try a lot of different things, and we expose ourselves to a lot of different things. Then we find what we like and what we're actually talented for can be valuable for people.
Yes. I think as you're filling your brain with some of these experiences or the knowledge, you will quickly realize that you haven't thought about what anyone thinks for however long. You're just like, oh, you're in your own little world.
Yeah,
and that is a good place to be, to kind of have that almost like solitude where no one else is involved. Like my wife could care less about photography and videography. So when I was on this, I was on my own.
That's right.
You know, I was, like I said, and then it became almost like entrepreneurship is just troubleshooting over and over and over and over. So is creating content. So is a podcast. So, you know, it was just kind of like my own place to exist and eventually be like, I'm going to turn this into a business.
Yeah.
That's amazing though. I mean, and it's almost like you learned and now you're teaching, and it's like I don't know. It's like, I keep saying, pay it forward. I always say, pay it forward. Like you learn from somebody, you're paying it forward. Yes. I love when people too, it's like you said, oh, they gave you an audience, you know, and then you paid it forward by putting them in front of somebody. And that's to me is how, like Daniel, I don't know, Daniel, you're a little saying about all boats, something.
Yeah, all boats rise with the tide. But you know, I'm thinking about now Interstate 85. I know Rich is familiar with 85. He's not too far away from us in Wilmington, North Carolina. But people entering the interstate, you might have somebody slow down or speed up to let you in. All you're doing is getting in the flow, you know? I mean, you're not looking to take anybody's position. Everybody else keep moving. There's plenty to go around. We just want to get on 85 so we can go up to Charlotte, you know, right?
Yeah.
But I think that we reciprocate that when someone else is coming and they're trying to get on the interstate. They're not taking your place, right? You can slow down and let them in front because they're just looking to get on the track. And that's what I mean by all these things of everybody gets some pie, everybody can win. You know, we can have these mentor-mentee relationships that flip, and you teach me what you know, and I'll teach you what I know, and we'll work together. Yes. I mean, that's when things get fun.
I need a question mark thing as well. Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys.
Actually, no. What would it be? Maybe like lips or something. Like I have something to say. I got you, Rich. I had a one-on-one with one of the gentlemen on my team this morning, and he was saying that I always say, like, what's not working? You know, there's a section where we're like, tell me everything that's not working, like free reign, anything you want to say, however you want to say.
Love that question. Write that down.
Yes.
And he said, sometimes if one person on the team has low energy, I feel like we all kind of get low energy. And I was like, that's a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing that we're all in sync like that. The bad thing is, like, what do you do in those situations? And what I wanted to say, the point is, don't go internal. Okay. Meaning you're talking about the on-ramp. When you start learning some of these things and you start talent stacking, acquiring new skills, or maybe your business starts to get some traction, like the easy thing is just to be like, me. Like I got to keep going on this. I got to put my foot on the gas. Yeah. But you're right. Let someone in. Meaning the minute I have a business success of some sort, the first thing I try and think of, not always, sometimes it doesn't happen, but I'm like, who needs this information? In my network, right? Like, is there someone who I know who's been struggling to get clients and I figured out a great way? Like, I just had something awesome happen. How did this happen? Who can I tell? Or should I post about this? But more importantly, like people in my niche, in my industry, like, I mean, I have a YouTube friend who's an organic YouTube expert, and we talk all the time about things that don't work with clients, about contracts, about this, about turnaround time, just things. So it's easy for me to think of if I have a client success, or maybe we didn't have to go back and forth 4 times before they signed the DocuSign. Then I'm like, hey, here's what I did different. Who can I share it with? You have to ask yourself that question. And Jenny and Daniel, it'll come back to you.
That's
Yes.
good. That's really good. Yeah, because it's like I love that. I have, I do have my own side business. I have a retail brick and mortar and everything.
Mhm.
So when I figure out something, I will immediately, I have other buyers and stores like, Alabama here and there. I'll say, hey, you got to try this.
Yes.
Instead of being like, hey, it's working for me and I don't want anybody to know because then I just get all the benefit.
Yeah.
No.
Well, it's a great example. Rich is on here telling us some of his tips and tricks. He's letting us on the interstate, so to speak.
Well, you know why? Because he's from North Carolina and I live in North
Yeah,
Carolina.
that's right. We're like family.
It's a wonderful, wonderful place. I love it.
You don't sound the least bit like this. So I mean,
Like this?
Give me a little bit of time. When I went to Florida State, and people would say, "Oh, what town is that in?" I'm like, "Tallahassee." They're like, "Tallahassee." I'm like, "I guess I'm impressionable." Yeah, I become impressionable. So just give me a year, Jenny. I'll be talking just like you.
I know because I wish it would happen with mine, but it's just going. It's here. It's here.
Rich, I know you let me know when you need to rock and roll, but I did want to say
I could do another 5. I'm really enjoying this. So,
I know we talked so much about ego and I say we didn't actually call it ego, but I think that's what we're talking about. Because when we're in control of ego, when we move back in with our parents, regardless of what people are going to say, right? We're stiff arming ego. When we put others first, when we're thinking of who needs it instead of where can I go flex about this big win I got, who needs this information? It's a little shift. And we still get the energy from the win, but we're using it more effectively, right? Yes. Because once we start getting hungry and like, look what I did. I don't know about y'all, but as soon as I do that, it makes the accomplishment feel less.
I tend to agree with that a lot. I mean, the celebrations are they're short.
Very short.
There's work to be done. There's more. What's next?
What's next? The power of now. Jenny Winny, give me that question, baby.
Oh, he said he only had 5 minutes left, so I've got.
You got to get it in.
Okay, so you know how, like you said, you started off in your little town, and you started talking to business owners, and Daniel and I have really discussed that. We really have. I live in Shelby, North Carolina, but I'm from Spartanburg. That's where my business is. Daniel's there, our family. We want to really connect with some locals too. Did you go and just ask them, or did you just show up spontaneously, or did it, you know what I mean?
Well,
I mean, I'd love to walk in and be like, hello, and they're like, get out.
I have, I'm gonna, this is a huge one. I'm going to share with you guys something my wife and I are going to do, because we've only been here in Wilmington for less than 2 years, and none of my clients are local. Mm-hmm. I mean, I had one, and they're doing fantastic, but they're everywhere except here. So I'm like, how are we gonna? I'm an adult. I'm a weird adult friend maker, because I don't just go like, hey, like let's be friends. You like baseball? I don't do that. Okay. Yeah. I hardly talk to my neighbors, not because I'm an introvert, just because I'm focused, and I also work from home. So the answer to your question, this is a tip, and I hope you guys take it. And if you do,
take it.
Hey, yep, dude, we're here, brother.
It could be great. Be the mayor of your town. Start a podcast and go interview businesses in your local area, and they're not going to say no. So I'm going to go to Daniel, and I'm going to go, Daniel, tell me everything about your business, and why does town A need to know about this? Okay, so all of a sudden you got that. So at the end of that interview, you're going to say, who are 3 people who you think would be really great guests for this podcast? Because we want high caliber people just like you. You're going to be like, well, Jenny Winny, of course.
Of course.
Oh, of course. So, okay, let me get in touch with her. So now you're not only kind of vouching for me on the spot, validating that you thought the interview went well, but you're giving me someone. I also praised you because I said you're high caliber. This isn't a technique. I don't do this if it doesn't.
That's true, though. Yeah.
So then you're like,
it's got to be real.
Like me, she is, or he is, or this business is starting to take off. You better get them before they get hot. Like, okay. So then I go. And I go to that business, and if I can, I'll be like, hey, by the way, I'll give you the content at the end afterwards, so that way you have it for yourself.
Yes.
And there you go. All of a sudden, you're like, I'm doing a limited series on winners in Wilmington. And this series is going to be about all the best places to get pumpkins, go apple picking, and whatever during the fall season. And now these business owners are like, all right, then maybe if anyone knows each other, then they start talking. And then maybe someone is talking about content at one of those stores. They're like, hey, this guy came and interviewed us not too long ago, him and his wife. They're really good people. Blah, 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 blah. Maybe you should reach out to them if you need some podcast help. And then it just goes. But anyway, be the mayor of your town.
Hey.
And what I know he's about to go. He's about to go. So
yeah.
And what you do though is like you branch it off. Like you said, a limited series. This is a limited series.
You could. Yes.
That makes so much you can do.
Yeah. Seasonal. Make it seasonal. Make it easier on yourself. Yeah.
Jenny, I know exactly who we need to talk to first. That's a beautiful idea.
That was gold.
You will enjoy it. You will enjoy it. And you will enjoy it more.
Queen of Spartanburg, mayor and mayor. I don't know.
I'm going to have to go visit in Spartanburg one of these days then.
Yes. Hey, or we can go on an adventure. And that was the other thing I was
I've been to Wilmington. I mean, I have a friend in Wilmington. So, I mean, it's nice.
Two. Now you have two.
That's right. Hey, and I actually just got a name from someone that's in my network of someone else to interview in Wilmington. I know that you probably know them. Mm-hmm. But I will be in contact with you, my friend, if you don't mind, because hey, there's so many things in common. I know that you can help me a lot. This has been fantastic.
And after y'all do it, we got to get you and your wife on. I want to hear what she says about going around.
It'll be hilarious. Yeah, she's soft spoken and the sweetest thing ever. So it's like a perfect like boom, boom.
I need Jenny to be more like your wife.
I'll get her a sign. I'll be like, that's what we have to do. Otherwise, y'all are just like, you know. So.
Hey, Rich, thanks for joining us, brother. I know you got to go.
Yes, thank you so much.
I had a blast. I had a blast. My day is made. Thank you both so much.
Hey, go get it,
Please stay in touch because I'm not joking about a visit. I told you about adult friends. It's hard. So hey, I'm willing to get in the car and be like, let's go have coffee. I don't care. Let's do this.
Let's go. Hey, it's gonna happen. Hey, have a great day.
Thanks.
Bye, everybody.
See you, brother. Well, there we go. Conversations.
I'm hyped.
You're good. She's good. No, isn't it the energy that I get from meeting people that are doing cool things, you know? I mean, this guy's in North Carolina. As soon as I saw his profile, I'm like, I got to talk to him, you know, because
unreal.
Yeah. I mean, he's right up the road. And then you have these conversations and things start coming up and you start saying, oh yeah, that's like us. That's what
we were talking. Wow.
Yeah. Now, Jenny, I was going to get on to you. I was going to wait until after. Natalia, she had said, Daniel, continue being awesome, friend.
I didn't post it.
You didn't put that up. I wanted Rich to see that. I'm just kidding.
I was like, you know, I mean.
Thank you, Natalia, by the way.
Thank you,
and
Natalia.
Good to see you. I was kidding. I didn't want to show that. I didn't want to be the one to hit that comment, you know, and kind of.
I was going to, and then I was like, well, I mean.
You're like, Daniel, I don't need my cousin to get it.
I don't know. Oh, Daniel, you're awesome.
Man, well, I
thought that was right on a limb, Daniel.
Okay.
I think these things right here.
Yes. See?
Look at that. That is gold right there. And it started getting a little bent up, and I was like, no.
No. Hey, what I want you to do, how much is it going to cost for you to make those? Because that's going to be part of the average dude, genuine average dude swag. Get your own.
Except it's going to have to be better than this because look, y'all. You see behind? Look at that tape.
Oh, that's quality. That is quality.
Look at the sign in the back. Jenny Winny.
There you go. Hey, I am working on a logo. Did I tell you?
Yeah, you did for the average dude.
The average dude logo, and I want to kind of do that. Or I thought about, you know how the silhouette of a man going into the men's bathroom looks. It's just that, you know, it's just
that round head and
yeah, it's just an average dude, you know.
Yeah, he doesn't look exciting. That doesn't draw me in.
No, it doesn't. But
he's got to go to the bathroom. He's just.
Yeah, but it goes with the average. How do you do that? What's the marketing genius behind an average dude logo that says, hey, I'm an average dude, but I'm also having fun or something like that?
You know what I think you could do? And I'm just throwing it out there. And later on, you can yell at me.
Okay, I may yell.
Well, you might. But I thought that I came up with some pretty good logos back in the day. I think we need to pick like 4. Hey, don't you say no. You post them and let people say, this is the one.
Ooh, okay. All right. Maybe I put one of mine in too and say, hey, listen, folks. This is me typing. Listen, folks. me and Jenny Winny are having a debate.
And we're not going to tell you whose is whose.
We're not going to say whose is whose.
So that Natalia,
yeah,
he's an awesome friend. You'll be like, that's Daniel's. I'll vote for Daniel. No, you might be like Jenny Winny. Yeah.
No, don't. You vote with your heart. You vote for the one that really moves you. And that will be mine. That will be the one that speaks to you. Is my logo design. I'm actually still working on mine. So it's going to be super duper cool and better than Jenny's. Cool. Hey, and then super duper cool.
Super duper cool. You know, I probably see you. I'm going to go down to the Spartanburg today. Our grandma is in the hospital.
Grandma, and yes, very unfortunate. 94 years old.
94. And the woman has lived. That is who we're going to interview, Daniel.
I know. We need to interview Grandma. We got to interview Grandma.
She's got some great stories.
We got to share Grandma Allison, Viola. We need to share her story. You know, I did a little short podcast with it, but I want to do another one. I think with you and I think that would really be.
I do too. Because the thing is that you are her grandson, and she loves me the most. So it would just be you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's probably true. I mean,
well, actually, I'll tell you what. I look like Grandma. This nose does not lie. It's Grandma's. So there you go. But you know what? That woman has lived since the 20s.
Yeah.
You know?
Long time.
Yeah.
Long time.
Yeah. So what you got planned for the rest of the week?
We've got a lot of exciting things, honestly, Jenny. So I've got, of course, I have my ING call, but then now what I've planned for the next iteration there. Sorry, guys.
Not at the table. Turn the phone off at the table.
That's right. Very rude. I'm still conducting business, Jenny. But you asked me about what I have planned. But I'm excited. There's several things upcoming. I'm not going to bore everybody with all the details. But there's some exciting stuff. I've got my communication boot camp coming up. I've got new ideas.
I got something going on.
What you got going on, Jenny?
But it's not going to be this weekend. It's next weekend. The Farewell Elton John tour concert.
Ooh, that will be a good concert, obviously.
At Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte.
Yeah.
And I'm debating right now because they sent me something. They're like, hey, for $200, you can be in the club suite with hors d'oeuvres and blah, blah.
Ooh, fancy. I'd go ahead and do it.
I think I should.
I think I should. Or I think you should too.
I think that way Elton might say, hey, how you doing?
Yeah. He might dedicate a song to the lady up there.
Yeah. With the boa.
The older lady with the boa. Just kidding.
There's going to be a new sign coming up next week.
Yeah. Will it have anything to do with a finger?
You just wait. You have to be here to see it.
Yeah. I can't wait. Jenny Winny, we're going to wrap things up a little early.
Yep.
Hey, people out there in LinkedIn world, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
We had fun. We always do. We'll see you next week. Sing Bat Time, Sing Bat Channel. Jenny, what do you say?
Let's roll.
Let's go.